Not every game can be a hit. Sometimes it's because they suck, sometimes because people slept on it. But there are moments in either category that really make you see why they even tried. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 genius moments in flop games. Starting off with number 10, it's Mind's Eye. Ooh, an easy punching bag right now, but not all bad. Mostly bad, but there are a few good moments here and there. One of the few positives we've had to say about the game is the cutscene direction, and while most of it is bland or forgettable, it really does look good. Once in a while, the game actually does manage to do something that stands out, like this moment near the end of the game, where your dude comes to the rescue of these absolutely insufferable tech people, absolute goofballs. They're hiding away in an underground science lab bunker or something. The actual context of this scene doesn't really matter that much. All you need to know is that the robots are attacked. I'm sorry, it's hard not to laugh at this game's premises sometimes. The larger science guy has been working on a lady robot, okay? It seems like it's getting a lot of buildup and it's going to be important for the story. The guys, they're moments away from getting pounded into dust by a rampaging machine, but then they activate the lady robot. This is the big moment where she becomes some essential character that helps resolve the story, right? That's what the game wants you to think. But what actually happens is the lady robot walks up like it's going to save the day, but instead takes the robot's hand and offers itself up to be used as a battering ram.
Is she? It's your paradox! There's a panic! Oh no.
And that's the last we see of it. All the buildup was just a shaggy dog story. I don't want to give the impression that I'm disappointed, but it's a really funny twist on our expectations. It's a funny moment that actually lands.
Yes! Larry, take it out!
Which we're talking about Mind's Eye, okay? Another similar kind of funny and surprising moment is this thing where you save a hacker from getting killed by mercenaries. They're at her house by the time you arrive, and the shootout kicks off in the streets. It'd normally be another standard Mind's Eye shootout, but the devs throw you a bone by having a neighbor come out of nowhere with a shotgun. This old lady's packing heat, and she's not just there for show. She cleans house if you let her. Just watch out, though, because she'll start shooting at you next. It's one of the rare gameplay surprises in Mind's Eye. It's not groundbreaking. It's a GTA-like moment. We've seen it before, but it shows these guys are at least capable of doing something interesting from time to time. So it's a shame there wasn't all interesting stuff, you know?
That head of you assholes bringing down the neighborhood. Now someone's gonna get it.
At number 9 is the Lord of the Rings Gollum. The mental arguments. Make no mistake, this is a terrible game. It has almost no redeeming features, but it does have at least one idea that I think is actually pretty genius. The way they use it is pretty lame, but at least the concept is good. I'm talking about the moral choices part of the game, where you can choose to take the Smeagol option, which is generally slightly nicer, or the Gollum option, which is less nice. Doy. If you know anything about it at all, doy. But it basically boils down to Paragon or Renegade, the way you actually want to resolve everything. Not just generic good or evil. Instead, you engage in kind of a mental argument between two personalities in Gollum's head.
The beetle saws. Smash it, smash it. What if it's friendly? Eat it. Don't let it tell on us. Beetle wants us no harm, does it? Could be a spy. It could be. Beetle just wants to eat pollen, perhaps. Pollen. Yes. It hasn't been following us, has it? It likes us. Look. Look.
I don't know about you, but I think this is a form of decision-making that's pretty interesting, that adds some complication and unpredictability to the usual binary choices presented in most games. In a Disco Elysium-like game, I think this mechanic would work wonders. When presented with choices in games, most people just choose the most basic, boring, generally good options all the time, and I'm not trying to call anybody out. I do it as well. So having a mechanic like this in place, where you can't just easily choose exactly what happens every time, could be really interesting. It also could be potentially frustrating, maybe an unnecessary hurdle for what you want to do. I can imagine people just saving before every choice and reloading if they get stuck with an outcome they don't want, but with the proper presentation and writing, I think there's potential for this whole mental argument system. Is it done well with Gollum? No, of course not. It's mostly just a tedious drag where we're forced to endure some talking from this shrill, whiny Muppet. Concept's just good. I like it. I'd like to see it used elsewhere. There's untapped potential. At number 8 is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the part with Batman. So this game isn't necessarily completely unsalvageable. There was still some of that Rocksteady spark in there. It's just unfortunate that the most generally agreed upon favorite part of the game is essentially a long cutscene that doesn't play anything like the rest of the game. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you played it. It's the part early in the game where the squad flees to this Batman museum that gives a nostalgic walk down memory lane to learn about what happened to Batman between Arkham Knight and this game before the Brainiac controlled, or is he a clone? Who cares? Whatever he is, Batman attacks, and it's a really incredible sequence where he slowly picks the squad apart one by one. It's like being on the other side of Batman in the Arkham games. The whole thing is just so well done, and just enough slowly creeping dread coming in to put you on your toes without making the sequence drag on too long. Each member of the squad slowly explores while Batman darts in and out of the shadows, taking everybody out with ease. It's such a great idea, seeing Batman from the perspective of his victims, which unfortunately the game is never able to follow up on in any satisfying way. The actual Batman boss fight is super lame and doesn't hold a candle to this introductory sequence. It's not just the best part of the game, it's one of the best segments in the entire Rocksteady catalog, which is unfortunate because the rest of the game is pretty uninspired, and I'm not completely sure this sequence makes it worth it, although I'm glad it exists. At number 7 is The Medium's split screen. This game is the reason everyone was so skeptical about the Silent Hill 2 remake. It's just not that great. The story is a big load of whatever, and the gameplay is super boring, but there is one unambiguously cool feature in this game, and it's the split screen feature. This is one of the first games that really took advantage of the speed of a solid state drive by making the game world render twice. Like on one side's a regular one, on the other side is the other world, or whatever it's called in the game, I don't know. It wants to be Silent Hill real bad, so I'm just going to use terminology from that series. When the game first transitions into this dual screen setup, it's very impressive. The way both worlds look familiar but very different is interesting, and the way we see what the main character is doing in both worlds adds a surreal energy to the game. Like when she's talking to somebody in the other world, we're seeing the same thing happen in the real world, and she's just talking to nothing. There's a real potential with this idea in other games. It has been realized in actual split-screen games like It Takes Two and Split Fiction. Split Fiction really does some amazing stuff with split screen. But what makes The Medium different is it's a single-player game. There's potential with the idea, and it's by far the most impressive thing in this game, but unfortunately they don't really do anything with it. It looks nice and all, but there's very little actual puzzle solving using the two different worlds. It's mostly just walking through corridors and watching cutscenes that look different, and that's it. While the mechanic is mostly underutilized in the game, it's still a genius idea that I'd like to see appear in other games. And number 6 is Wet, the vehicular carnage level. This 2009 first-person shooter isn't very good. It's way too short, the story's a jumbled mess, the humor's incoherent, and the performance is pretty damn rough. It's kind of an ugly and stupid game all around, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have some good ideas. The acrobatic third-person combat that rewards constant movement while blowing away dozens of enemies is one of a kind and incredibly satisfying when you get the hang of it. The vertical arena-like missions, they're very cool as well. Having to deal with an endless stream of enemies until you run around and block their entrances, it's actually very fun. The best part of the game, though, is something that happens early on. It's a marquee set piece in the game, and it's absolutely brilliant how over-the-top stupid it is. The setup is you're chasing this guy, and he's in a car. That's it. So, of course, instead of chasing him the normal way by driving, your character elects to run. It is an absolutely mad segment that combines platforming, shooting, and QTEs. The last part, not so brilliant, but at least the buttons you're pressing do relate to what you're doing. So, like, if you're going to jump in the cutscene, the QTE is the jump button. I guess it could be worse. is the kind of over-the-top madness that more games need. Just this crazy superhero-esque chaos where you gun down hundreds of bad guys hopping from car to car. I don't know if it's the Matrix or if it's a comic book thing or just something that's purely video gaming. I really can't pen it exactly, but it's great. It's also one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a game, but it is genius. And number 5 is Wanted Dead, the intermissions. Speaking of dumb and a kind of bad third-person shooter starring ladies who are really into gun kata, Wanted Dead. This game comes from a similar place, just stupid nonsense, but the genius parts are remarkably different. Yeah, the shooting and the sword combat in Wanted Dead is pretty fun, even if the actual level design isn't, but there's not a lot else going on during the main missions. It gets repetitive pretty quick, and though the game can be finished in like 5 hours easy, it still feels like a bit much. What's actually genius about the game is just about everything else. The bizarre, quirky presentation, the sudden anime cutscenes out of nowhere, the unexpected intermission mini-games that depict the characters just screwing around and having fun. That bit is the best part about the game, bar none. And that's what makes it slightly more than yet another half-baked, forgettable action game. Stuff like the karaoke segment where they sing 99 Red Balloons with really awkward singing voices, or the part where you play an entire side-scrolling space shooter. It's not an old game that they're emulating, it's a new game. It's a game that they made to put in this game. It's not like the best or anything, but it's surprisingly pretty good, and it might actually be the most consistently high-quality thing in the game. A lot of things are janky and awkward in this game, but this arcade game just feels right. It is a surprising and cool feature that we are actually seeing more and more of in games these days, but I think these sort of unexpected gameplay changes deserve a call-out, especially when the game isn't very good. Like I said, there's good stuff about it, but the sum is less than the whole of its parts, except this. And number 4 is Fear 3, the department store. This is easily the worst game in the series. It's not even close. It is a country mile. The levels are bland. The story is lame. It doesn't have good AI, which the first game did. Visuals are not great. I mean, anything that makes it distinctly a Fear game, except for the slowdown time power, it's pretty much all gone. And that is even pretty unimpressive here, visually speaking especially. It's overall just a pretty bad and forgettable game. And, I mean, what else is there to say? Oh, there is one thing. The department store level. Every other location in this game is so forgettable and bland, but this place really manages to stand out and leave a massive impression. It is the most unique level in the game by a long shot, and easily the scariest with some actually effectively creepy parts. It's also the best looking place in the game, actually looks like a location that's gone to hell rather than a brown series of hallways. It's got personality. It feels like a lost level from Condemned. I don't know why it's in this game. I don't know who was behind this level, who made it, but it's just on a completely different level of quality compared to everything else in the game. It's frankly mind-boggling just how much better this one level is. If the whole game was like this, it'd be like a classic game. The shooting would still be subpar, but the level design and atmosphere would have brought everything up quite a few notches, I would say. And number 3 is Dead Space 3's co-op missions. After 2 entries in a series that were some of the best survival horror games of all time, it's impossible not to see Dead Space 3 as something other than a disappointment. It's not a complete failure, it just doesn't hold a candle to the first 2 games. EA and Visceral's attempts to make the game more appealing to a wider audience just make it worse. The universal ammo, the generic enemies where you don't need to cut off their limbs anymore, the lame human enemies, these were all bad ideas that just do not gel with Dead Space. But the one idea they did have that fit with the other games and worked well was actually the co-op. See, you can play the entire game cooperatively, which is an idea I'm okay with, but I think playing the co-op makes this game like a lot more fun. And it's also where the game's best new mechanics are. Depending on who you are, either Isaac or Carver, you actually get different visions and sometimes see things that the other player doesn't. So when Isaac hears voices and hears visions, they're related to things he's experienced, while when you play as Carver, you see something entirely different.
Carver, you have to listen to me.
Not being able to know what's real and what's not is a big part of these games, and making it so each player character actually experiences different things is a great idea. In some segments, things are perfectly normal for Isaac, but Carver sees all kinds of crazy stuff. It makes playing co-op both a fun communal experience where you're talking to your buddy and laughing about the stuff you're seeing or not hearing. It's just a great idea for a co-op game, and it's really well done. The only problem here is that this stuff does not happen enough in the game. I mean, I get it. You don't want to overdo it with nonstop visions and fake-outs. I feel like, as a concept, though, this just has legs. Like a horror co-op where almost the entire experience is different depending on the character that each player is playing as, that could be really, really cool. Like, if you remember some old horror games, different characters had different campaigns. Actually, that wasn't even exclusive to horror, just any game. Horror, I think it's kind of more effective, though. Still, imagine that in real time with multiple people. I think it would work. It could be annoying, I don't know, but the way they did it in Dead Space 3 was pretty brilliant, despite the fact that, I mean, it's Dead Space 3. And number 2 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign, the Trojan Horse mission. The 2023 version of Modern Warfare 3 was not a total wash. The multiplayer was a big improvement over Modern Warfare 2, but the campaign was indeed a low point for the entire series. They probably should have just gone the Black Ops 4 route and just not included a single-player mode if it was going to be this half-baked and obviously unfinished. There's so many missions where just parts of the Warzone map are just chopped up and you got guns lying. That's literally what the missions are. They tried their best to make these things feel like actual missions, given how clearly rushed the entire production was, but there's just no getting around how barren and lame some of these quote-unquote open-ended missions are. On the rare occasion where you actually get a proper Call of Duty freaking mission, it's cause for celebration, but even most of these are kind of terrible. Like that one mission where you infiltrate the enemy base that takes all of 30 seconds to get through. Even the best mission in the game feels too short, but at least it's got some of that classic Modern Warfare energy that the rest of the campaign is just sorely lacking. The final mission of the game is called Trojan Horse, and if it were a better Call of Duty story, I think it would be more fondly remembered. There's some very cool stuff here. Like the part where you're tracking a guy using London's CCTV network. You switch angles, you scrub back and forth through camera footage, trying to track a guy's movements. It's actually a genius idea that gets into something that might actually be kind of Modern Warfare scenario-like. It's a great idea. Same with the climactic bomb disarming segment, where you're looking at the bomb components through a microscopic lens. It's a fun and really tense scenario that's not too difficult, but it looks very cool, and it does throw a few curveballs, like having some text be upside down. Honestly, I'd play an entire game where you're doing stuff like this. Get rid of all the shooting stuff, give me puzzles and closed-circuit TVs and increasingly elaborate bomb disposal missions. I know this is hardly the last game to do any of this stuff, but the way they do it puts all these ideas together into one mission in a way that just really works. The big problem is that it's inexplicably the last mission. Throw this thing in the middle of the game, and it's really good, but it does actually kind of make a terrible finale. And number 1 is Walking Dead Destinies, the big choice. Just hear me out here. Walking Dead Destinies is a god-awful game, but it's got exactly one kind of cool idea. I'm not even talking about the Destinies concept. I think for the most part, the choices you make barely matter and are really underbaked and unsatisfying for the most part. The only part about it I kind of like is the part where you decide whether Shane or Rick dies. That's kind of genius. There's caveats, obviously. The way this choice plays out, it's not good. The big confrontation between the main character Rick and the main antagonist Shane, it's embarrassing. Someone on the dev team must have thought they were making the final battle in Metal Gear Solid or something, but it looks like little Timmy's first Unity project. It is laughable just how lame this battle is. It's so stiff and awkward while the main Walking Dead theme blares in the background. It's supposed to be emotional, but it just looks like a joke.
You're alive? You've always been... This is all you, not me!
Shane, he told us.
I really like the idea here, though, being able to make a choice as big as killing off the main protagonist of the series and replacing him with the Dark Horse favorite would be a really ballsy idea in a game where people actually care about the game. This is Walking Dead Destinies, though. Obviously, this would completely alter the rest of the game's story, but it doesn't. In Walking Dead Destinies, it's the same game. Pretty much the story is exactly the same, except for you hear a bad John Bernthal impression instead of a bad Andrew Lincoln impression. But even though the actual outcome is super freaking lame, I do think the idea is really, really good. I would love to see an actual good game do something like this. Let us make some kind of massive choice that alters who the protagonist is for the rest of the story and actually make it matter. It's something that it would be a ton of work for the dev team, of course, and it may not be worth it in the long run, depending on who does it and why, but man, I would love to see it if it was done well. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanx.